Hello everyone and welcome to the iSpring Solutions webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today as we're going to speak about how you can manage your projects in iSpring. My name is Paulina, I'm a community manager and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. As our speakers today we have very special Brian Tarr and Michael Kokarev. Hello guys, how are you doing?
Hi, great,
Hi.
thanks.
It doesn't look like you're doing great. I'm
Yeah, we're
very
occupied.
happy. Yeah, very happy to have you today. Michael Kokarev is our systems engineer and the technical writer, and with his over 8 years of experience in technical support, he's now writing amazing technical articles for iSpring website. And Brian also worked in technical support, and now he's creating amazingly beautiful video tutorials, and you might see some of them on our website or official YouTube channel. Today we also have with us Valerie Lett. Hi Valerie, thank you very much for joining.
Hi Paulina, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. Valerie is our customer care manager and she primarily works with iSpring clients, helping them to decide how iSpring can be a perfect fit for their needs. So if you guys have any questions about our licensing or pricing, you're more than welcome to reach out to Valerie during our webinar. At the end, Valerie will also reveal a special bonus, so guys, make sure to stay with us till the very end. And as tradition, we will have a Q&A session held by Brian and Michael, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to submit them on the right side of your GoToWebinar panel. And at this point, I think that we are ready to start, so I will pass the mic over to Brian.
Alrighty, give me just one sec.
And guys, just wanted to let you know one more time, we would love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to submit your questions.
Okay, you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, hi everybody. So, hang on, am I too loud or is that fine?
It seems fine to me.
Okay,
A
great.
little bit loud.
Alright, a little loud, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that should be better.
Yeah, sounds
Alright,
good.
so today we're going to talk about how to manage the iSpring project folder for your online course or presentation. So when you work on projects, you should use your computer's local storage, not a network share or a flash drive. And the best place is a folder in your user profile like Documents. And here you should create a folder called iSpring Projects. And when you have a lot of projects, it's easier to separate them into their own subfolders. So here I've created a subfolder for this course called Space Shuttle Course. And as you can see, there's a project folder here with the same name as the PowerPoint file. And these two files should always be together, and you should never manually modify the contents of this folder. And this folder is automatically generated whenever you use iSpring features. So let's open the presentation. And you can enhance any presentation like this one with extra e-learning content. And as I said before, whenever you use any of these features, they will automatically add resources to the project folder. So right now, let's look at a side-by-side view of the project folder and PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a quiz to the end of this course. I'll put in a new slide. Then I'll go to Insert, Quiz. And I'll just browse and find our Space Shuttle quiz. And now I'll click Save and Return to Course. Okay, so what happens here is a placeholder is inserted on this slide representing the quiz. And if you go into the project folder, you can now find the quiz in this subfolder. So if you want to edit this quiz, you should not open it from here. You should always go here and click quiz. You should navigate to the slide first that contains the quiz, and then go to insert and then click quiz. And that will open up the same quiz. So this is going to be a repeating pattern here. Anytime you want to edit any of these resources inside this project folder, really you should just ignore the project folder and handle it all within PowerPoint or within iSpring. And if you record audio and video narrations, the files will appear here in the respective folders. And I believe Michael will talk more about that later. Like, for example, if you want to edit audio or video in a third-party program. Now, if you do want to make a backup of your project, just click the Export button. And you can choose a name and a location. And if you like, you can create a zip package. Actually, what I want to do is I want to put it in iSpring Projects. There we go. And you just click export when you're done.
Yeah, this is how you would send it to your colleague for editing your presentation. For example, if you want somebody to edit or proofread your quiz or record audio, you can simply export it to a zip file and send it to your colleague, right?
Right. And you should always use the export feature. You should never directly copy or paste or move or do anything with these files in Windows Explorer. You should always handle it directly through the tool. All right, so right now let's publish the course to see how the output folder looks. Okay, so as you can see, the path is right here. I'm just going to do one slide so it'll be faster. And we'll publish it. And as you can see, this folder is automatically created. And it's got the word web in parentheses because that's the destination I chose. Oh, I see. I selected the slide with the quiz on it, so it's got a lot of multimedia in it, so it might take a sec. Anyway, basically, once it's done publishing, which it is now, when you click Open Folder here in the preview window, which is once again what you really should do, you should never have to navigate to it yourself manually in Windows Explorer. You can click Open Folder here, and that shows you the contents of this web folder here. And this file here is a web page containing your course, which is stored here in data. And these all should be kept together as well, just like your PowerPoint file in your project folder. And after you publish, these files cannot be edited manually or converted back to PowerPoint format. So the key concept to take away from this webinar is that your project consists of the PowerPoint file and this automatically created folder, so keep them right next to each other with the same names. And you should never modify files directly in this folder. Always use iSpring functions to add and delete content or edit content. And the items in the output folder are also inseparable and should always be kept together and never modified. So that does it for my part of it. I'll pass it over to Michael now to show you a little more.
And before we move on with Michael's part, maybe we have some time for a quick question?
Okay, what's up?
What if you are regularly collaborating? It would be difficult if you always have to export back and forth. Question from Joe.
do you say, Michael?
Well, yeah, as Brian showed before, the only thing you need to do to export your work is clicking this export button and send it to your colleague. That's how, on the other end, your colleague will unzip this package and continue working on your presentation, then zip it back and send it back to you. So this is how you can handle versions of your project, like version 1, 2, 3, etc. But also, yeah, as Brian mentioned before, it's the best ways to place your projects is to use your local storage. However, if you have your corporate network and several people work on the same project together, if your system administrator does everything right and gives access permissions to full access permissions to this project folder on the Ethernet to every employee who creates this project, you can still have it in your Ethernet and don't send it back and forth to your colleagues. However, the most reliable way is to use export button on the iSpring ribbon.
Right. Thank you. So to answer a question, next question from Joe, couldn't you work from a network share as long as not at the same time? The answer would be yes.
Yep. Yes.
The answer is yes. And it's pretty crucial that you don't work on it at the same time because
absolutely.
And I just wanted to show you really quickly, I don't know if you noticed before, but just how fast it is to export. I mean, this is a fairly large presentation with a lot of multimedia in it, but it just takes seconds to export it to a zip file. So, I mean, taking a few seconds to export it is well worth the security of not having to go searching for files or get a corrupted presentation in the future.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I'll pass control over to Michael and he can continue.
Okay.
And guys, don't worry, we will get back to your questions during the Q&A session.
All right. So do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from repeating the key concept of today's webinar is to keep your valuable created content safe. Just avoid changing the project folder contents and keep it in the same parent folder as your PPTX file. You can actually move or you can zip these two files into a zip package. Yeah, actually, this export button works the same in a similar way. It just exports to this file and this folder into a single package, and this is how you would send it over the email, because emails accept sending single files, not folders, right? So yeah, the data inside this project folder is managed automatically, and there is no need for users to open and change it. Let me just show you the dependency of what button creates what folder. So for example, if we add a quiz here, the respective quiz folder will contain our quiz. If we record audio or video using either quick recording options or managed narration, it'll be stored in the audio 2 folder and video 2 folder, respectively. Guess why audio 2, not audio 1? Yeah, because after some updates, we slightly changed the internal structure of the way projects are managed, and audio folders here stand for projects made with iSpring 7 and earlier versions. So I think it's pretty much it about this folder structure. We will need it later when we will talk about searching lost audio or files or quizzes or other project resources. Okay. So as Brian mentioned before, the best way to store your project is to have it on your local disk. So let's open the Documents folder on my computer. So it is right here, and I have a folder called iSpring Projects created for storing all the projects I work with. Okay, and let me show you the tree look of this folder structure. Here we go. So here's the Documents folder, and in the Documents folder, usually we have a bunch of different folders, and for this webinar, I just put them in a temporary folder, not to distract. Okay, but I store all the projects within this iSpring projects folder. And here we have a separate folder per project where we have the PowerPoint presentation that is a main component of our project. So the folder is created automatically after we add something with iSpring, and after we publish our project, we will have the respective folder called Web. Also, there are different publishing options in iSpring, which will lead into different folders with different suffixes. So yeah, here's the output folder for web, for LMS, for CD options, and we can see the links right here. And video would produce an MP4 file without putting it into a separate folder. Okay, so going back to the to my project folder, for example, Space Shuttle, and here I saved a zip file as a backup copy by using export button. Okay, I will delete it for now because I don't need it. So your project can lose the connection with the recorded audio files, quizzes, and other materials that you created if you perform any of these actions. For example, delete the project folder. So accidentally, our users sometimes delete these folders, and then their projects cannot be converted using all their quizzes and audio files, etc. So yeah, if we delete this project folder, we will break the link between these entities. Also, if we rename a file inside the project folder, so we rename any of these files, also it will break the internal structure. But iSpring is wise enough to remember the placement, the previous placement of your project folder. For example, if I cut this file and paste it on my desktop, and I open it again from my desktop, So apparently this project has a quiz. However, here we don't have our project folder. Look what happens then. If I go to the iSpring Suite 8 ribbon and go to quiz, it updates the project automatically. So yeah, you should be aware of not moving and separating these project components. However, iSpring does the great job of keeping them together. If you accidentally move one file from another, it will link them together and copy it to the new destination. So let's roll it back. Let me put it in its place here. So this is the old destination of this project. So now we are fine with it. Okay. So iSpring does a really great job of keeping track of your projects, but it's important to have the internal structure that is stored within one folder, that it stays within your documents folder. Okay. But what if we cannot find this folder? If it's somewhere on our computer, somewhere on the network share probably, or on a pen drive. Sometimes you cannot find this folder, and I'd recommend you using Windows search for that, and remember the locations where you worked on your projects, and try searching for the same name here. So we have when. Let me open my documents folder again. I go to the iSpring projects, and I open a space shuttle with audio. So here we go. This presentation already has, let me open that. This presentation already has audio added to the presentation, and let me open it in a side-by-side view like Brian did. So here we have some recordings made, and what we can do is open it in a third-party editing tool, for example, Audacity. It is a tool that is used nearly by everybody who's into audio production. So we can make changes to this file. For example, apply fade-in effect to this file. So we can see the volume gradually raises, and we save it to the same file. And next time, when we open our presentation, our Space Shuttle PPTX file, these audio file will be automatically set in place. So if we open our Manage Narration editor, the new processed file will be in place. So here we have. Okay, so and I would just warn you to use this approach carefully, because it is a hardcore workaround that is used by iSpring pros only. But it can save you time importing and exporting audio within managed narration, which is kind of more orthodox way of editing narrations. So yeah, just know that you that you can import audio or video using using standard import options right here on the ribbon. Okay, but before you do any changes, I strongly recommend you having a backup of this folder. Just copy and paste it before you do any changes, so you can roll back at any point without without doing any harm to your project. Okay. Also, speaking about backups, there are some solutions for automatic backup of your entire hard disk. For example, Acronis, True Image, or CrashPlan. These are paid tools. However, if you have Windows 10, you can get hold of Windows 10 file history option. You can Google for Windows 10 file history, and also there is a great article on how to geek. So you can find out how to use it to back up your users folder. For example, your documents folder that stores all of your PowerPoint presentations and all of your iSpring projects. So the last topic I wanted to talk about today is how to link several presentations. This is indeed a pretty complicated topic because probably everybody from today attendees know how to link one presentation with another. You would just go edit hyperlink and select a presentation on your local computer, and here we go. But also we can use a relative link by typing the path to the presentation here. What is a relative link? A relative link is a type of link that that makes possible that keeps all these components linked. Even if I move the parent folder, which is iSpring projects here, and the parent folder is presentation structure. So if I take this folder and move it to another computer or to my pen drive or I'd upload it to my web hosting, the links within between these presentations will be preserved. So this is the power of relative links. But here's the thing, when we link our web presentations that are published in the respective folders with the web suffixes, we should consider that they stay on different levels from our original PowerPoint presentations. And what we need to do when we create a link is to add additional 2 dots in the relative link. So 2 dots in a relative link tells to go one folder level up. This is an HTML path notation. So this is how all the hyperlinks in the entire web and on your local computer works. So if you put 2 dots here and then backslash and then 2 dots here, it will tell the index file here to go 2 folders up and then navigate to the particular presentation that we wanted to link. Okay, so let me open. Let me bring up the folder structure of these presentation. Also, I will use side-by-side view So on the left-hand side, we have our presentation with a table of contents. And here we have, so here we go. So this presentation, after we publish it to a web, will go to this folder, and index.html file is the file that we would launch to open it for the web. And if I click on the link here, I will be redirected to video lecture 1 index file here. So this case is pretty popular among customers who create a lot of different courses with iSpring, and then they want to link them together or create a table of contents. So you can use this approach to link all your presentations between each other. So let me bring up the tree structure again.
Michael?
So, yeah.
And is it possible for you to type the relative link into the chat window? One of our attendees is asking.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or
so,
zoom into it somehow.
Yeah, I've prepared it in my PowerPoint presentation. So the link to video lecture 01 would look like this. Magnify it. So 2 dots and backslash tell browser or Windows Explorer go 1 level up. So first we start, for example, here. So this is place we start. 2 dots and backslash, and then 2 dots and backslash again brings us 2 levels up. So we go to here, and then we go to here. So yeah, in order to enter another, I'm sorry, the last arrow was an extra one. So we go 2 levels up, and then we need to enter the folder of the projects folder for another project, which is project 2, and then we go down. So this is the name of the project for this for video lecture compound course, and don't be afraid of this %20. These are automatically substituted spaces. So if I enter the link while assigning it here, it will be automatically substituted with %20. So it is HTML space notation. So yeah, then we go, then we navigate to another folder, and finally we end up opening another presentation. So as we can see, all index files of these presentations are absolutely the same. The only difference is the name of their folders. So if you want to upload several presentations to your web hosting and link them together, this is a very nice approach to use in order to link all your presentations. So these folder names are different, course 1 and course 2, and upper folder levels are different too, project 1 and project 2, but index files are the same. Some people tend to save 2 different projects in within one folder. This is not right, because it will interrupt between different folders. Let me show you that. So here we have this presentation structure folder, And if I open video lecture 1, we have index file and data file. And the same thing goes for video lecture 2. When we publish it, it has just different the web presentation has exactly similar names of the files. So this approach is important if we want to link 2 or more presentations, or if you want to create a table of contents, and this way make navigation between our created courses easier. So I think that's it. And Polina, I think we can move on to the Q&A section.
Yes, before we do that, let Valerie cover the bonus for the webinar attendees.
Sure, I will be glad to.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hi everyone, and I would like to mention that we are running a couple of special offers, and one of our special offers is back to school special, so you are more than welcome to save $100 on every iSpring Suite license. And as well as academic licenses, your discount will be 45%, so please leave me your contact details. I will be glad to send you more detailed information. And I believe that we also have special offers for upgrade. So till the end of August, you are more than welcome to get your upgrade for $197, as well as you can extend your maintenance for 1 year for only $297, and for 2 years for only $497, right, Paulina? Yes. Okay, so if you have any questions, please leave me your contact details. I will be glad to send you more detailed information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valerie. And right now, I think we're ready to move on to the Q&A session. Thank you very much, Brian and Michael, for speaking for us today. And the first question is from, I believe, Luke. In the folder, there are video, audio, but no pics folder. Is there
Pictures
dedicated? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pictures folder, you mean? Well, all pictures are stored within a PPTX file, so there is no need to extract them to some external folder.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And a question from Tracy. Does the PowerPoint file have to be exactly the same name as the other folder?
Well, yeah, it is. It will have the same name because the project folder is created automatically. I can show you that when you, Paulina?
Sure. Hang on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I open any presentation, let me close first. So, for example, a space shuttle presentation, if I delete this folder and I open this folder, open the PPTX file, and if I try to record audio, it will automatically create this project folder. And this folder will have exactly the same name. So, check recording, first slide. Okay. So now, only after I recorded my audio piece. Here, here it is stored in the audio2 folder under files. So this is the file that I just recorded. But before that, this folder is not created, and yeah, I think you just shouldn't bother about having them the same name, because it's taken care of by iSpring. But once it's created, it's important to keep them together. And the reason why we recommend putting every PowerPoint presentation in a separate folder, not to allow things like that. So, for example, if we have one project here and one folder here and two PowerPoint presentations, we can easily mix up these project folders. And if we, moreover, will start publishing all these presentations, it'll lead to even more folders with similar names that will just have suffixes web or CD or LMS, etc. So the main recommendation is to have one presentation per folder.
Okay.
So does it answer your question?
Thank you. I hope it does. Tracy, let us know, please. And the next question is from Mike, and Michael and Brian, if you guys know by any chance, what's the best way to enter tracking code into the index file?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned before that you shouldn't change any of the project files by all means, but there is one exception for that. Whenever you want to add Google Analytics code, you can modify this index code. You can edit it with a notepad and insert code right into here, because this file launches all the files within data folder. So data folder contains the internal structure of the presentation. So it's all operated by player.javascript and other files. So you shouldn't modify any of those files in the, it is a published data folder, not a project folder, but still you shouldn't modify any files from here. But you can add some additional code into the index file. For example, if you want to have Google Analytics on your presentation. So are we okay?
I hope so. Okay for now. And next question is from Bob about Blackboard. Do you need to zip the file to upload it to Blackboard?
Yes, every LMS accepts zip packages. So when you publish your course, I recommend that whenever you select this LMS tab, you have always this checkbox checked. So zip output should be always checked when you publish to LMS. And under Learning Course, you can choose Blackboard, and you can customize progress and completion, but we are not going to do that right now. So we just go back to the General tab and have this option checked and publish it. Well, for Blackboard publication, it is checked by default, so I think that it is more of a question, can you publish it as a regular folder? No, you can't, because it's automatically checked here.
Right. And with
But
iSpring, it's easy to publish for Blackboard, right?
yeah, because we have the special building block.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the building block that was developed especially for Blackboard, because Blackboard doesn't handle SCORM SCORM events or SCORM results correctly. So yeah, this building block allows your courses created with iSpring work flawlessly in your Blackboard LMS. So yeah, you gotta check it out if you have Blackboard
Mm-hmm.
system. And
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. And next question is from Mike, and I think that you actually covered it during your talk, but maybe we can go over it really quickly. If my PowerPoint has links to other external files like an MP4, does iSpring preserve relative links?
well, yeah, good question. So what I wanted to point out first is resource option on the iSpring ribbon. If I go here, I can link different documents to the course, and after I publish, this attachment will be shown on the player top ribbon. So when we publish it and I select universal player, by the way, the universal player is selected by default. So if I go customize, I can show you where this resources link is located on the player. So when I publish my course and I have some documents, I can easily click on resources here and open it from the panel that will appear here. However, if you still want to link some external file, for example, from a slide here, and I would create a hyperlink. Yeah, let me add a picture here. So yeah. Come on. Well, yeah. Let me just show you that really quick here. So when we have a linked file, for example, this one, this PNG is linked with the PPTX, and it has a relative link that apparently doesn't have any backslashes and double dots, because it is on the same level. So we just in the link we just enter the name of this file. But whenever we publish it, the index file will be launched from the other level of folders. So if we want to have this link preserved, we just need to copy this linked document and paste it here. So whenever we open this presentation from index file here, this linked document will be preserved as we go through our presentation. So does it answer your question?
Yeah, please let us know if that helps. And we have a little more details from Tracy on her question about renaming the file. She says, I'm just wondering, if I save the PowerPoint as a different version, does another project folder get created?
Excuse me, if you use export button here, or because you can create a zip package and give it a version name, so it'll be easier to restore it later.
Yeah, I think she meant if she saves it under a different name from within PowerPoint.
Yeah, from within PowerPoint. Well, if you save it under a different name within PowerPoint, which is not recommended, and you continue working with your resources, both quizzes, audio, and video, etc. All these resources will. iSpring will try to copy all of these resources to another folder. Let me show you that really quick. So Space Shuttle Program is the presentation that we have here, and if I go File and save it as a version 2 here.
Yeah, there was another question if, for example, they name it "Do Not Delete," for example. Will it harm the presentation or the project?
Yeah, if you rename your folder and then, let me close that, then if I open it again and I try to navigate to the quiz, yeah, iSpring takes care of preserving your project folder in this case. However, eventually you'll have tons of similar names for different versions. So yeah, iSpring just copied all the contents of your original project folder to this project folder version 2. So yeah, it's done automatically. So there's no need to be worried about that. I mean, the only concern I have here is that if I keep saving it under different names, first my entire project size will drastically grow, and I will have a lot of similar names and similar folders within one folder, while we would recommend you having one folder per, one presentation per folder.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's more up to you how to manage your projects. So you can do it this way or another, but what we say is what we usually tell to people who call our tech support phone line, and they have everything in their projects lost, and whenever they keep everything predictable, keep one PowerPoint within one folder,
Right.
they don't have these problems anymore.
Mm-hmm. And if we rename the project folder, can we
Yeah, I
do that?
wonder. Yeah, I wonder why even would you do that? Yeah, we can.
Well,
Yeah, if I rename the. Okay, let me close the presentation here. I think iSpring will take care of this case as well. So now I have I did this hint, this cheat, and let's see what happens. Yeah, to be honest, I never did that. Yeah, you will see the
mm-hmm.
the error message like this that will let you locate your project folder that was eventually renamed or deleted, or you can create a new project folder, and Yes, so it is less recommended to rename your project folder than to rename your
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint presentation. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if we rename a PowerPoint presentation, iSpring will automatically hook up this project folder, but if we rename a project folder, you will need to manually find it on your local drive.
Right. So we have a question from Jeff. Just it relates to the one you've just covered. If I need to have, say, 3 different versions of the same project, would I want to republish under different names?
Well, I would keep different versions backed up using this export button.
Hmm.
And whenever I need to roll back, so I can export here. Whenever I need to roll back, I can unzip it and use it. But I always have, so I would use versions for backups only. I would not save my PowerPoint presentation under a different name in order to have it as a different version. So
Hmm.
I would save it in the same folder or in the folder dedicated for backups. But
Yeah, that's great
yeah.
advice. I think the latest version shouldn't have a
Hmm.
version name at all. It should just be the regular name of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And we also have a question, I guess it's for you, Michael. Would you mind writing a step-by-step document on linking that we can refer to later?
On linking like this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Um, well, yeah, there's an article.
Maybe you already have one.
Yeah, I already did that. Sorry. Yeah, you can find this article in our support. It's called "How to Link Several Presentations."
Can you paste the
Just
link into the chat box?
yeah, let me do that.
Thanks. And we also have a question about audio files. When you have a lot of audio recordings, how do you identify the correct one other than just listening to it?
Well, yeah, as we with Brian mentioned before, all of these audio files here are I mean current files that are used in the presentation. So, for example, this presentation has a one audio file, but what do you mean by knowing the right file or?
I mean, the one that he wants a guest to connect with his project or the presentation.
Uh, well, yeah, this folder is managed also automatically, and I think you can just preview it from here to see what audio file goes for which particular slide, because audio file names here are weird. They have random letters and numbers in names, and they are not related to slides anyhow. So um, I know that this WAV file goes for the very first slide, because I recorded it just for the first slide. But if I had say 10 slides, I would have 10 different audio files here, so it'll be
And I
more
have one other,
problematic.
sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have one more suggestion. Another way you could try to find the right file is either by the size of it, the file size.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you happen to know that it's a short narration, you could look for a small one. And the other thing you could do is you could look
Yeah.
at the date. Absolutely,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
So like if, you know, the latest one would be slide 10 probably. I mean, if you record them all in order. That's usually
Hmm.
how it happens, but anyway.
Yeah, I think this presentation contains, oh yeah, it has just 2 different files, but these 2 narration files narrate the entire presentation, so it's really easy to see
Yeah.
when they were created.
So Joe says if you record audio for multiple slides, there will be multiple random files. If you want to go and
Yeah.
edit them in another tool later, you need to know which one to edit. So there is no way to see an audio file's name in iSpring when viewing in PowerPoint/iSpring.
Well, yeah, if I launch manage narration for a Space Shuttle quiz, for a Space Shuttle PowerPoint presentation, I would, okay, let me show you that. Yeah, which is this is not the file name, the original file name that we have in the project folder. This is, I think, more of an MP3 name tag for this file. So I think that if you narrate your presentation and you record slide by slide, like here, you get rid of these files.
Mm-hmm.
And let me do, oh no. Okay, with the video it is the same thing, but right now I wanted to record an audio. I'm sorry, not syncing. Oh yeah, just use record audio button on the top, and okay, this is the first slide, Space Shuttle Program. What is the Space Shuttle Program? I think Brian will do a better job of doing that. Yeah, so if I save it, yeah, this thing will be saved as a one file. Okay. So yeah, the most recent file we have here, I think this one, it is this file. And if I keep recording, for example, I want to narrate the third slide, and I record audio for that. Early history of the program. Hello, this is the third slide. Okay, we have one more file, and yeah, it has date, creation date slightly different from the original. Yeah, actually it is the very same minute, but Windows still knows.
If you look at the details, it'll show the seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, the properties.
So I think this is, I mean, sorting by the date created is the best way to match your audio files to slides.
So they will be placed in order you've recorded them, right?
Yeah. Whenever you use this date creation sort in Windows.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I also think it's really important just to stress that this
Mm-hmm.
is only if you need to do extremely advanced audio editing. I mean, iSpring does have a built-in editor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask if you're done with answering the question, or you have something else to add to it.
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay, cool, because I have one last question for today for this webinar from Jeff. Remember when we were talking about renaming the PowerPoint presentations, or sorry, the project files, because he has to have different versions of it? And he says, for example, for multiple audiences, driver, valet, cashier, same presentations, but need to have different names for the different series. So is it actually possible, my own question, to copy the whole project and then rename it?
I think I guess, yeah.
If you just
Let
need to have
me.
different names, for example, in order to be sent to different audiences.
Okay, okay, yeah, I got you. So I think you can both rename your PowerPoint presentation and your project folder, and it should do the trick. Well, yeah, I think that let me bring up manage narration. This way we will understand that the resources are hooked up. Yeah, that's right. The resources were automatically copied to, I mean, not even copied, but recognized by iSpring that it is the same folder and the same PowerPoint presentation. And yeah, I think the iSpring makes PowerPoint presentation remember their original placement of the resources folder. But if you rename both of them, it'll be just fine. So you can rename it and send it to your audience one, and then rename it and send it to your other audience, and have it done like that.
Okay, thanks. And I think that at this time we should wrap up. Brian, Michael, is there anything else you wanted to add or to mention?
I think that's good.
Okay,
Great
thank you.
job, Michael.
Thank you very
That's what I
much.
wanted to add.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
I just wanted to say one more time that if you guys are interested in the special, you're more than welcome to submit your email address. I wanted to say thank you to Brian and Michael because I think it was a wonderful webinar. And thanks
Yeah.
to our audience for asking those awesome questions. And we really hope that you guys found this session helpful. And if you still have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact our support at support@ispringsolutions.com, and they'll be helping to guide you through the management of iSpring projects process. And we will see you next week at our new webinar. So hope to see you there, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, yeah, don't lose your quizzes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
keep
Okay.
it strong.
Bye-bye, everyone.